Hey loves, welcome to MLP Suite Well-Beings Working Well. I'm Ashley Farrell, physical therapist turned Pilates teacher turned health and wellness coach, specializing in preventing burnout in high-stress work environments. Come on in, get comfortable, let's chat. If you feel called, like, comment, and subscribe. Here we go. All right, y'all, let's just dive into it. This is the first episode of Well-Beings Working Well. I am a health and wellness coach. My name is Ashley Farrell, and I specialize in preventing burnout in high-stress work environments. On today's episode, we're going to go over signs and symptoms of burnout, causes of burnout, and 6 tips about what you can do to prevent it and reduce burnout on your end. Before I go too far into the video, I want to just pause and recognize that there is a short 15-minute Pilates flow video intentionally created to de-stress the mind and relax the body. It can be done before you go to work, on a lunch break if you have your Pilates mat, or after work to kind of just de-stress and close that chapter of the day. I really hope you enjoy. You'll find more of this type of video for information and those type of videos for relaxation as this page grows. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me if there's anything that you all want to hear, and let's just all get well together. All right, back to the program. Yes, so for today's program, we're going over signs and symptoms of burnout first. We're going to break it down into 3 categories: physical, emotional, and behavioral. Actually, before we jump into the signs and symptoms, what is burnout? So the World Health Organization actually added burnout to the 11th revision of the International Classification of Diseases, and they defined burnout as such. Burnout is a syndrome conceptualized as resulting from chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. It is characterized by 3 dimensions. 1, feelings of energy depletion or exhaustion. 2, increased mental distance from one's job or feelings of negativism or cynicism related to one's job. And finally, a reduced professional efficacy. Now, where there may be some challenges to the definition is the next part. Burnout refers specifically to phenomena in the occupational context and should not be applied to describe experiences in other areas of life. Elephant in the room, if only it was that sweet. But let's be real. Home stresses become work stresses. Personal stresses become home stresses, become work stresses that come back and become personal. We are human beings. We are not compartmentalizing every piece of our lives. They all overflow and run together. So while the World Health Organization might not recognize that home stressors and personal stressors are affecting your job performance, quality, and productivity, in reality, it is. So how do you know if you are burnt out? Chances are if you burnt out, you know. But maybe you're heading in that direction, still tiptoeing, and you're not for sure. So let's go over them. The physical symptoms of burnout, which include headaches, stomach aches, and intestinal issues, including changes in appetite and sleep patterns, fatigue, and experiencing frequent illness, that chronic cold. All jokes aside, we all know that one person that always has a cold in the office. And I have a lot of nerve right now because you might hear I have a little cold myself, but you know who you are. Next up, emotional symptoms of burnout include helplessness, cynicism, a sense of failure or self-doubt, decreased satisfaction, feeling detached or isolated, a lack of motivation, shame and guilt, being irascible or highly irritable, and lastly, general apathy. And this is not an inclusive list, but you get the gist. And lastly, behavioral signs you will notice if you're experiencing burnout: a decrease in job performance, a decrease in productivity, a decrease in job satisfaction, an increase in procrastination, possible spontaneous outbursts, a substance dependency can begin. You may experience panic or anxiety attacks, and you zone out pretty regularly. Next up, causes of burnout. And I would really like you to approach this list as risk factors for burnout. And just be mindful and begin to mentally identify if any of these causes or risk factors exist in your place of employment. And I will fully recommend to you and really actually encourage you to self-advocate for yourself and your coworkers if it behooves you, all the natural leaders out there. I love it. And start to proactively address these problems before burnout ensues. So, elephant in the room, it's really hard to treat burnout. It's so much easier to prevent it. Here we go. Causes to burnout in the workplace. 1. Leadership. Feeling micromanaged or that you have a lack of direction about your job. Next up, feeling that you have little to no control over your work or work environment. A lack of recognition or appreciation for your efforts. A overly demanding job expectation. Monotonous or unchallenging work. And lastly, a chaotic or high pressure work environment. A little extra here. So teachers and healthcare workers tend to experience burnout at the highest rate. And a lot of times everyone is scratching and surviving in these work environments. So people often go unappreciated, under-recognized, and it's just a highly challenging, mostly thankless profession, teachers and healthcare providers. So if no one thanked y'all, I'm thanking y'all. So there are lifestyle and personal contributing factors that cause and are a risk factor for burnout. So let's go over the lifestyle factors. Here we go. Working too much or without socializing or relaxing in between. A lack of close supportive relationships. Too many responsibilities without enough support or help at home. Not enough sleep, and being a primary caregiver to a dependent loved one. Once again, not an inclusive list, but you get the gist, right? So stress at home can become stress at work and vice versa. It happens all day, every day to pretty much everyone. All right, to the fun part. Now that we laid out the whys and hows and whos, let's go over what can be done. So here are 6 tips in helping to treat and prevent burnout in the workplace, especially in the high stress environment. Here we go. First up, self-care. You have to go within. All right. So cliche, I know, but it is what it is. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot squeeze water out of a dry sponge. It will not happen. You have to find something to replenish you daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. And I'll go more into that later on in the tips, but you have to connect to the most important relationships in your life. This is where my wellness coach comes out now, right? So no matter what your belief system, your religious practice, I don't care. Not that I don't care, I care a lot, but I'm saying it's inconsequential to what I'm going to say next. Not one of you put the sun in the sky this morning, and not one of you made sure the earth was rotating during your lunch break, okay? Which means there is a divine power, something at play that's bigger than our capabilities, and that is the connection that you have to draw from. That's the source. The sun comes up every morning, the moon comes up every night, whether you see it or not. That is an energy source that never depletes and that we're able to tap into, whether it's meditation, a spiritual practice, a religious practice, whatever it is, that number one relationship is with your source energy that also dwells within inside you. So it kind of goes with that first tip too. Feeding you feeds the source, and you're able to give from an endless well. Now, outside of your relationship with your divine being, whoever you see as being your divine source, family, friends, coworkers, support system, feed into those. The people, your real tribe that's supposed to be in your life, they actually replenish you. You know, that one friend, that one family member, maybe your mom, your sister, your best friend, and when you talk to that person, you feel like the Energizer Bunny. You just get hyped up and you like, I was not looking forward to this call, but I'm so thankful to God that I thought I only had 15 minutes and it turned out to be 3 hours because your energy just refueled me and I needed that. So those type of relationships where you feel refueled and replenished, feed into those, because it's an energy exchange that's able to bring some light into your world and some relief. Here we go, right along. Tip number 3, get intentional about your schedule and prioritize rest breaks and vacations. Back to what I was saying in the first point. What does rest look like daily? What does it look like weekly? What does it look like monthly? And lastly, what does it look like yearly? You will get no-go medals for not taking that vacation time. And whether you go or stay, the work is going to be there. Sorry if you're HR or an employer listening, but let's be real. Like, even if I can go 1 or 2 or 3 years without taking a vacation, it's not sustainable. Like, this is not a race. This is a marathon. So what does that look like? On your daily break, are you taking 15 minutes to walk and clear your mind, or to meditate, or to listen to your favorite songs? Weekly, are you taking time to get your nails done, get your hair done, go sit by the beach, relax under the sun? What are you doing to replenish yourself? Monthly, are you taking time to go out to a nice dinner, connect with family and friends, get dressed up, feel better about yourself? And then yearly, are you planning those vacations and are you going for them? You work so hard. Are you enjoying the fruits of your labor is what I'm asking. So that brings us to number 4. Intentionally creating a work-life balance. You are not allowing life to happen to you. No. Here we are manifesting and being deliberate about what we are creating. So you are thinking and writing down, what does work and life balance look like to me? How many hours am I in the office? When do I disconnect? What is my boundary? Who gets access to me at home? Under what circumstances? If you are not intentional about this, then you're leaving yourself open to be overly used, and it's not even another person's fault if you don't put up your boundaries. And then also, you're just hoping for work-life balance. You haven't done anything to ensure that it is happening, and thus this is not sustainable. All right, 2 more to go. Number 5. This is one of my favorites. All right. As a child, we all had something that we loved to do that was somewhere in the realm of art or maybe science. I don't know. But there was something that was a hobby to you or that you enjoyed. And I am strongly encouraging you to tap into that creative life force inside of you. If you're part of the spiritual crowd, then you know I'm talking straight about the sacral chakra. Yes, that center of creativity and passion and creation and lovemaking and sensuality. That is our energy source that can really awaken, inspire passion to exude through us. And this type of inspiration and passion is a natural deflector, a natural defense mechanism against burnout, because it energizes us from our core self. And it makes things more manageable. You tend to produce more solutions, inspired to different ways of looking and thinking about things. And thus your job and your career becomes enlivened, right? So although you're just going back to maybe painting or writing or drawing or dancing, you'll find that once you open up this creative center, you just gave it license to flow into all areas and all parts of your life and enjoy that. And last but not at all least, we have the sixth tip: physical activity. Yes, by making time to do physical activity in your schedule, you are showing yourself self-love through self-discipline. Physical activity has also been linked to boosting energy and your mood, as well as helping you feel better about yourself. I mean, an increase in confidence and self-esteem, and just an overall sense of feeling powerful. From a physical therapy standpoint, it also helps with mobility and decreasing pain, thus improving your quality of life. You feel better about yourself in general, and that energy also flows over to other parts of your life, including your job performance and your confidence, right? So that is all the tips that we have for today. Thank you so much for joining into the video. But first, I want to mention this, as I kind of insinuated it in the title, but all of these things should be done, if possible, in your current work environment. A part of my health and wellness coaching is a huge spiritual practice that acknowledges things like vibration and manifestation and the law of attraction. The thing is, in your current situation, if you're not able to manifest it to become a better environment for you, or for you to shift your perception or perspective of your environment, then you can leave this job and most likely go to the next one, and you're going to attract the exact same issues and problems. And if you've done it before, then you know I'm not lying. So every disadvantage has an advantage. Try to apply these tips and suggestions in your current workplace, and even if it just helps you to feel better and in a more positive, higher vibrational mood, use that energy as your catalyst to apply to the next job. Try not to apply where you're just kind of ran down and torn out, because that is your current vibration and most likely where you're headed again. All right, take that as a sign. Universe agreed with me. And on that note, I'll end it here. Thank you so much for tuning in to the first episode of MLP Suite, Wellbeing's Working Well. This is just the start. So much more to come. Stay tuned.